Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us live from Las Vegas on our Change Needs Maker series. And let me tell you something, it's Wednesdays, and on Wednesdays we wear pink and purple and blue and all the fun things. We're so happy to have you with us. I'm here with the leadership of the Women in Microsoft 365 group. And these ladies are fantastic, and we're going to talk all about it. And so I want to welcome the folks who are already in that group, because this is actually the monthly meeting of that group, that community organization. But also we might have some new folks out there. So if you are new to this fantastic community-led group, and you're going to get to learn all about it in the next 50 minutes. So first off, let's go around and have everybody get to know you awesome people. Let's start there. Yes, with your cool. We were talking about watches before you got here, and it was a fun conversation. So Joy, I'll start with you.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Thank you, Caruana.
You're welcome.
So yes, I am Joy Apple. I am a Director of Success and Enablement at Orchestry, which means I get to help people do what I'm most passionate about, and that is make the most out of technology. I'm a firm believer that technology is super cool and we all love it, but it has to be put in place with a human-first approach. The people have to come first. I've had the pleasure of being in the Microsoft community now, working with Microsoft Tech for 18 and a half years.
Oh, my goodness.
I've seen things. I have stories to share.
I bet you do.
But it's been an amazing journey, and it's been amazing to watch how women have found their place in technology. Oh, the last 20 years have been really something to see. Yeah. And here we are to talk about it today at the Microsoft Community Conference.
I noticed that too. Walking the halls of this show, there's a lot of women here, right? And I remember when I used to be the only one of a lot of things. And it's wonderful to see how that's grown, because I don't take it for granted, because I go to other shows, other places, other tech stacks, and it's not the same, right? I think we've made a concerted effort in that growth. Share with us your story.
So my name is Rachel Sullivan. I am the manager of information. Sorry, it's a new title.
I did that the other day.
Systems administration for Mastercam. I've been in tech for almost 30 years. Started very, very young as a teenager.
You were 10.
Pretty much. I was talking to somebody last night, and I'm like, oh, I'm a Voc kid. I went to a Voc school, and shockingly, my shop was computers and information systems. So I literally have been doing it for like 30 years. So, and I love the Microsoft stack. I implemented it at my previous company, moved us to M365, took over kind of managing M365 for Mastercam, and love it. And I love teaching other people. I love empowering women. I too was there when it was like 3 women in a conference, maybe.
Yeah.
Running to the restroom while everybody else was in line. It was great. But yeah, that's pretty much my story.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, so glad that we could do this with all of you this morning. Lori, tell everybody how wonderful you are. If you can't, I will. So you just let me know if I need to step in.
My name is Lori Potmire. I am the Microsoft 365 MVP program community lead, and was instrumental with you all in creating the Women in Teams community a few years ago. Now, time is flying. And it's just been really exciting for me personally to see an influencer program with passionate technical subject matter experts like the MVP program increase the number of women that we have in the program. And I think that, that really was kind of the impetus for creating Women in Teams, was when I realized, gosh, we have a really small number of women representing our MVP community. And so it's been really fun to just kind of have this place of mentorship and, where everybody has kind of a common passion for tech. And so, I'm just happy to be here to talk about women in M365 now.
Absolutely. We
definitely appreciate you.
We definitely appreciate you. That is a sentiment that we all definitely share. Well, and also I think you hit on something important. This is a safe space for people to start their careers, continue their careers. You can be at any part in the life cycle of your career, and this group is just so important and welcoming. And it's not just for women, it's for women and their allies as well. Absolutely. And I didn't mention that at the top, and I want to make sure that the folks know that, that it's an inclusive space, right, to folks who just want to continue to better themselves.
Absolutely.
Tell us your story. You have a fantastic story. Let's hear it.
I'm Sharon Weaver. I am the founder and CEO of Smarter Consulting, and I am a Microsoft MVP and RD, so I get to spend a lot of time with Lori. And I basically, Joy and I kind of helped Lori transition this to a broader audience and to kind of grow it over the last year. And we're really excited. I've been in tech for almost 30 years as well. So I have been doing this for a very long time. I spend all day, every day helping people use M365 tools and getting more out of what they're spending on their existing licensing. And I'm really excited to be here as well. I just, out of humble beginnings, we have grown this group, and I want to reiterate this statement about the allies. A lot of people ask us, is it a women's group? And my answer is our group is to elevate women and to grow the number of women in here, not to limit it to women. And so we give women the opportunity to shine, we give the women the opportunity to meet, we give women in tech the opportunity to chat with each other and network, but we absolutely are not limited to women. We have many, many other people who show up every single month, and we love the group.
Absolutely. And, because that's about, I think these sorts of groups, and just to lay this out, you all do this in your spare time. Like, these are all volunteer-led groups. And of course, I came from the community. Both of us did. And so I understand it. But there might be people out there who don't understand. Why would you give your free time to such a thing when you could be with your families or sitting on a couch or traveling or what have you? Because you create this amazing, welcoming environment where people can learn and grow and make really lifelong friendships. But you do it out of the goodness of your heart. And the thing is, all of you have been very consistent. I think people don't necessarily understand how long some of us have been doing this stuff. I mean, luckily, I convinced somebody to give me a job to do it. So, I kind of don't count anymore because they actually pay me. But y'all been doing this a really long time. So tell us a little bit about that. Why do you do what you do?
It would have been nice 18 and a half years ago to have had those resources. Sometimes I think, where would I have been if there had been women in Microsoft Office SharePoint Server 2007? I have no idea what
would that fit on a T-shirt?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's a really long acronym. But I was in the government at the time. We love our acronyms. Where would that have been? And I think, too, all of us here, we're teachers. and we're nurturers in some way or another. So it's like, yeah, it would have been really awesome to have had that group around when I was starting. Let's make it happen. And I see someone and it's like, hey, oh, you're new to this space? Find me. Let's connect. Get your LinkedIn out right now. Let me help you connect to people so you can be new today, but have that leg up that a lot of us didn't have for a variety of reasons. We didn't have the social media networks and all that jazz. But yeah, it would have been nice then. So let's make it happen now.
Yes, absolutely. What about?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I wanna definitely reiterate that that's exactly why I do it as well. So I remember the very first SharePoint conference that I came to, and they actually closed the women's bathrooms on the first floor because there was too many men and not enough women to have the women's bathrooms open. And so we had to go upstairs to go to the bathroom because they had closed the bathroom and they put a stick.
Sharpie.
They put a page on it that said men and then they said women's second floor. And so there were so many men
Oh, that
and
was
not enough.
clearly not one of my shows. I'll tell you something. I would have walked up to that and been, excuse me, who's in charge here?
But I mean,
Take this down.
That just tells you how many women were there, which is not very many. And even then, you go to the second floor and there was no line, right? And so I think, to me, I remember the very first time I went to a Women in SharePoint event, and there was, I think, 5 people there.
Yeah.
And, we were just kind of huddled together, and we were alone. And I agree with you, Joy. For the rest of my career, I thought to myself, I never want anybody to feel like that. I never want anybody to feel like they're second class, like they don't deserve a spot here, like they're alone, that there's somebody to welcome into the community. And so, we all do volunteer our time. And I am very passionate about making sure that people have a place. And it's not just women, right? I'm open to everybody. I want to help everybody. But I do the same as Joy. I see somebody new, and I'm just like, hey, who are you? Do you need a welcoming person? Do you need a place to go? And running the Women in M365 group gives us such a great place to meet every month with people around the globe and get to share, our stories and get to talk about tech and get to network. And we get to introduce people to people they may have never met. And so same reason. It's just I feel like what would my life had looked like had there been an opportunity for the things that we do for those people. And so I do it. I just will do it for the rest of my life because of that.
And I think that's the heart of community service, right? Which in some ways, I know in some places in the world, people are a little cynical about being of service to the community, but it is literally why I get up in the morning, is this concept of being of service and helping others. It's how I define my life. And I think I see it so much here, and especially in groups like this, we really just do want to be helpful and make sure that other people have a better experience than we had. That's the whole purpose of, they give us a platform like this. Well, yeah, we're all going to come in and talk and be visible. Because visibility matters also, so they can see us. I remember looking around and, there wasn't anybody who, I could, resonate with on that level, right? There's lots of great people in the community, but it was different. So what about you, Rachel?
Well, it's funny. I've been very lucky in my career that I had a lot of allies, male managers that have really built me up. So I'm lucky in that. But even then, I still had, we have our imposter syndrome.
Of course.
But once I went to my first user group, just the Boston area user group, and I went to my first SharePoint.
Yes.
I'm like, I think I just found my people.
Yeah, found people.
And then I went to, it was an SB TechCon Boston, and Heather Cook was presenting, and she's like, who's going to Ignite? I'm the only one who put my hand up. She's like, you're going to the Women in Tech pre-day, just so you know, you need to sign up for that. And I did, and
Heather's directive like that.
she's amazing. So, and I'm just like, I went to that. It was the best thing I ever did. It was so great. I made lifelong friends.
Yes.
From that. And I always prioritize now doing the, women's thing, the neurodivergent thing, anything with diversity. I love going to that because you just get so many amazing perspectives. And women is obviously my heart.
Right.
So
of course.
Yeah. I go
Absolutely.
towards that as well. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lori, so at Inside Microsoft, we have some of these groups as well. Lori and I do a lot of stuff outside the company, obviously, working with you. But, tell us a little bit about the origin of Women in Teams that's now becoming this and how that happened.
Yeah, it really stemmed from what I was seeing with the MVP program just day to day, right? And the number of men that would come to the calls that we have. You know, we have for the MVP program, they're passionate technical experts, which I know, you know, both of you are in that program. Part of that is being able to talk with the Microsoft engineers directly on a monthly basis, or sometimes more frequently. And in those calls, because the pool of women is fairly small, or the pool includes few women, we have primarily men on those calls. And when you look at, you know, just psychology and people speaking up, you know, women aren't as comfortable in many cases speaking up and asking questions and kind of sitting in the back, even on a phone call. And so what I was seeing in those feedback calls is that we were hearing from a lot of men over and over and over, and then, you know, we maybe had 3 or 4 women on a call of, you know, over 50 and never heard from any of them. And I thought, gosh, you know, I know that there are less women in tech than there are men, but this is really crazy that we have this really strong group of very smart people who can add so much, but yet they're being overshadowed, and, you know, not because anybody was trying to, that's just how it is. And so I thought, what can I do to, try to make it more even so that voices get heard, but also to get more females in the program, and more females that think they can be part of a program where you're recognized for your technical aptitude.
Oh, that's such a big thing. That's a really important thing right there, because, you know, even to this day, if I walk in a room someplace, I always, and it doesn't, I have to be clear, sometimes this is in my head, but sometimes it's actually happening. I'm not always sure which it is in the moment, but I'm always managing the fact that I feel like I have to reprove my technical expertise when I walk in.
Every time.
Because I happen to enjoy wearing makeup and big earrings, right? I don't do it because you have some external force. I really like it, right? And so I like to dress up and dress in a very feminine way. I didn't always. When I was younger in my career, my hair was very short. I had a very different, way of presenting myself. And a lot of that came from being in such male-dominated environments, in public sector, in the police department I worked in, on the Navy base I worked on, places like that. But over time, I have got more comfortable with the more on the feminine side. But I have noticed as I've done that, right, that you have to reprove that technical acumen. So I love that this community is really a place where you don't ever have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to do that in 1 hour meetings. You can just ask your questions. And also, asking a question doesn't mean you don't have technical acumen. It means you're curious, which I think now is really important. Right. So let's talk about now a little bit. You are making this transition from Women in Teams to Women of Microsoft 365. And for anybody who's looking for the primary location, it is a LinkedIn group that's out there. The LinkedIn group is actually Women of M365. So if you search for Microsoft 365, you won't find it. So search for M365. At least right now. We might, tweak that so search finds it. But what's going to happen? Like the other part of this podcast is also your regular meeting. What happens when you all get together?
Amazing things.
Well, I kind of knew that.
I mean,
but
it's
break it down for our audience. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you my consultant answer first. It depends on the meeting.
You have been around for a while, right? We all say it depends all the time.
It's a joke at my company now. They're like,
Yes.
you know what she's going to say.
Yeah.
But we do bring in a variety of types of speakers and sessions, right? You don't have to necessarily be a woman in M365 to be able to speak. We want people because diversity matters, right? It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be Teams, it doesn't have to be SharePoint, it doesn't have to be Copilot. We look for soft skills. We look for all kinds of things.
She said co-pilot, everyone drink. Everyone drink. That's what you have to do.
All right.
In case you wondered, it's a drinking game. Just letting you know. Yeah.
I'm going to say it more.
I know.
Like one of my favorite sessions that I got to deliver was using technology to reduce rushing women syndrome. we'll connect.
Oh yes, I need to hear about this. I can tell you. Did you see that look on my face?
I had a
Like,
journey
I think I
last
have
year.
that, but what is it? But I think I have it.
I had a journey last year, and I said, I need to talk about this. But where do I start talking about this? And I was talking to Sharon. I was like, hey, this is not like super technical. This is more. And she's like, do it. You're doing it. You're doing it on this day.
Yeah.
Right. So it really, there's a variety of types of interactions. We try to get together at conferences and have a little pop-up booth.
Right.
Oh, what was your favorite pop-up booth we did?
Probably Comsby next. We did a little pop-up booth, and we did nail decals and tattoos for teams.
I love that.
This is the temporary kind.
yeah.
Yes, exactly right. The temporary kind is, but presence again. Presence matters.
Yes,
and I love how you're really good at that. That's something I've always admired about you. You're so supportive of other people, and you push us outside our comfort zone a little bit in a positive way, though, in a safe environment. If there's a place that you need to practice. Bringing a new presentation, Women of Microsoft 365 is the place to do it.
Yes.
And Sharon will, she will just book us.
Yes.
You will just make us.
Yes,
do
I
it.
will.
It's wonderful.
You'll end up on stages.
Yes. Don't freak everybody out because not everybody likes to do that
This is true.
stuff, right?
Well,
There's
so
a place
let's
for
address that.
everyone. If you don't want to be in any of this, you can write blog posts or just help with coffee at the event. You don't
Yes.
have to do anything because it's open to every
Yes,
different type of person,
absolutely.
Yes.
right? We're here because
Yes.
we like doing this.
If
Yes.
you put your hand up, though, it will be seen.
Yes,
Yes.
that's an excellent point.
Yes.
That's my tweet of the day, potentially. I really like that.
Yes.
Put your hand up, it will be seen. And that's a big,
Important.
big, important part.
And again, men, women, allies. And I like the first time I saw the social media account that was originally created, and I think that's still there on LinkedIn, it says it's open to all humans of IT.
I love that. Nod to our friend
That's
who came up
important.
with the humans of IT phrase. Love that phrase. And of course, I'm about people first. So fantastic. What do you tell us a little bit more about what you do and at the meetings and in the groups? What should someone expect is what I'm getting at. If you're new to the group,
Yeah.
what should you expect?
So, like Joy said, we have all different types of speakers that come in. What I've been helping with mostly is the social media side of things. I designed our logo,
Which is gorgeous.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Hello. Love
Fantastic.
this. Beautiful
I
pen.
aspire to the silhouette in the front's arms someday. I'm like, I want her arms. So I'm helping with a lot of the back office stuff. I'm still working up to speaking, so this is good for me. And this
great.
is a great format for me. I will say thank you for including me because this is perfect.
You're welcome.
I'm a conversation person.
Absolutely, and that's what
Yeah.
podcasting is all about.
Yeah.
You don't have to, it's not a thing. There's no slides. You come, you have a conversation, you be yourself. Most people just need that.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in the era of AI, we need more authenticity. We need more real human connection to complement everything that's happening with AI, because that is an amazing thing. I'm very AI positive, but at the same time, I'm all about that connection. So fantastic.
I love the conversations we have in the meeting too. Like we did a fun one for Christmas. We did a bingo, and then we did a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
So people were running throughout their houses looking for things.
Oh, I love that. That is awesome.
It
Those
was
are always fun.
amazing.
Because also, how do you, and Lauren, Sharon, maybe you can answer this. For me, I think one of the positive things that came from the pandemic is that now, whether it's community days or your group or other things, we're much more likely to have a hybrid event, to have a digital component, to bring along people who can't necessarily come in person. And there's a variety of reasons that people can't attend. Maybe they can't get a sitter. Maybe they don't. Maybe they live far away from a large city, but they're still doing this work remotely. There's a lot of different reasons, and so I find that the hybrid is inclusive and helpful. Also, I like being in person too, so I like them both. But how has that impacted how you're running the group, and folks are just dialing in, right, most of the time?
Yeah, we kind of have like a core group that seems to dial in every month, and it's great because like you recognize the names and get to know each other, but you're getting to know each other like virtually.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's great. And for my job, we have some people in the office, everyone's remote. So I'm very comfortable now on a camera.
Right.
It's another thing from the pandemic. I'm so used to being on camera all day,
Correct.
talking to people.
Right.
And it's just,
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the cool things, right? Because we do meet virtually, and then you start to get to know people. And then when you come to an event like this, that's, thousands of people, it's like, I recognize that person, and then you kind of already have that built-in connection. So you can walk into a room, be like, okay, I recognize that person, I can sit down with them, or, some people don't like walking into situations like that. So
it helps me avoid that feeling of being the new kid in class.
Absolutely.
Because we never want I'm always motivated. I don't want people who come to these events to feel like the new kid in class. So if you can connect to one of these groups, even if you may never come, but maybe there's a local event you come to, and you know some people a little bit ahead of time, it makes all the difference in the world to just see that friendly face or be like, I've seen you online. Oh my goodness, now I get to meet you in person. It's such a great moment too when you see people do that.
It is. It's great.
I really like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and sometimes when you come and talk to people if you can. Like one woman, I'm friends with her. She works for Drexel University. I met her at an Ignite. We sat down. We've gone to trips to Boston together now. You got to, if you can get yourself out of that comfort zone and having diversity events, women's events, and start talking to them, you don't know. You could end up with a friend that you've had forever.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I completely have had that. Yes, that's absolutely true. And also, if you're new, right? If you're new to this, the other thing too is that you can find your place where you're comfortable with the things you like to do. Right? Maybe you want to learn how to do local events. Maybe you want a podcast. Maybe you want to talk and practice speaking because you want to do public speaking. Maybe you'd rather write a blog. Whatever it is, I'm big on brand management, right? That'll be my talk I'll come and do because I rewrote it for this show. How to do it now is very different than how I taught it before. I went back and got my slides from 2017. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. Chat, Copilot will do that. Forget about that. So it's all different. But I really want people to know that it's, wherever you feel comfortable participating, always need volunteers, always need more people, and you can just participate and just be in the group, right? I mean, nobody's going to immediately draft you to something when you show up, although we might.
But there's topics that are technical in nature where Microsoft people will come and talk about what they're building, what they're working on. And then there are some of the more, call it soft topics or,
Power
time
skills.
management or, how to structure your day and how to, use our Microsoft tools to be, more collaborative. And so there are usually Microsoft speakers and community speakers that come to each of the calls. And so it's nice to hear from different people.
Absolutely. We want.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say,
No, go ahead, please.
a few months ago, we had someone come in and do how to negotiate conflict in the workplace.
That was
So
And
important.
that's very different for a male persona or a female persona, right? So that conversation, and we had everyone present, right? So there were all kinds of voices to be heard. That conversation.
I'd love to, there's some great speakers also on negotiating contracts, negotiating employment contracts, knowing how and when to ask for a raise. It is about the money. I mean, I love what I do and I would do it for free, but I'm not doing it for free.
Yeah.
And so, it's important to know your worth in the world so that you can ask for what you want because, if you don't ask, it's not going to happen. So, and sometimes it's risky and it's very scary. I've had two definite situations that were just terrifying, but I'm so glad that I asked for what I wanted because I got it and it was awesome. Well, one thing I want everyone to know, we're going to make a transition into your monthly meeting, but I want everybody out there to know to go join the LinkedIn group. There's going to be lots of posts and activity out there that you can follow along with. You can find them. They're linked at the Microsoft Community LinkedIn group, but also you can search for Women in M365. You will find it. It will pop up, join, and then you'll get all of the great announcements from these lovely ladies about everything that's happening in this fantastic, inclusive community. So I'm just happy to, be adjacent and be a part of it and get to have a good time.
And we're so happy you're here. Thank you so much, honestly, for promoting this and for sharing this and for putting all of this together. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. They give me the toys. I want everyone to play with them, right?
Yes.
But I mean, it's true. I think it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, right? I feel very privileged and very lucky to have the gig I have in Microsoft, and I can use every single shred of it to help other people, that's literally why I get out of bed in the morning. And it's fun and it's a privilege and I enjoy it. And, what the heck? I get to start my morning with all of you. That's also good. And coffee. I'm going to just say co-pilot so we can drink.
Get another shot of caffeine.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we didn't touch on that, and I know you're going to talk about your stuff, but maybe just one last question, which is, do you see this era of AI being different for groups like the ones that you run than everything we did in SharePoint and Teams? And, obviously we went to cloud together. A lot of us have been in this a long time. So how is AI different? Do you think it is?
Yes, I'm going to answer that one.
Okay.
I love talking. I will talk about AI all day, every day. I feel like I stand up on stage and I'm like, this is my moment. This is everything in my career has led me to this moment. The whole idea behind AI is that it is assistive technology, right? And I've always been an application specialist. I've always been great in technology, and I've always looked for what can technology do for you, not what are you doing for technology, right? Technology is here to serve us, and AI is here to take care of us. And one of the things that I have really realized is how helpful it can be in terms of creating content, and we are content creators, and we are influencers. And so Rachel, as she's working with social media stuff, used AI to assist her to create all the new logos. I use AI on a regular basis to assist me to create everything from social media posts to planning to when I run panels, having it give me ideas for questions, putting our schedules together. And so I think at the end of the day, when we talk about this is not our full-time job, we are volunteers. Having something like AI takes that from being 2 to 4 hours a week of community time to being an hour a week of community time, which means we get more out of the time that we're putting in, which means stuff like this is not as much of a burden on us because the busy work behind the scenes is far less burdensome day to day. So I think it's going to change the way that we do things. I think it's, it's kind of funny, like in the 50s or 60s when they started getting appliances, they're like, this is going to give us all more leisure time. And none of you guys are washing your laundry for 2 days anymore, right?
Right.
And so I think it's going to be the same way. None of us are going to be spending a whole day putting presentations and schedules together because Copilot will help us do that.
I just needed to update my project plans and send my comms. And it will. And that's the thing. It absolutely will. I think you're so right. You really hit that on. Because community time and that volunteer work, if I can do more with less time and help more groups, I actually was thinking about this just the other day because I have to pick the ones, that I pay attention to because there is only so much time in the day before I start eating into the time I promised my family. But because of the content creation and other work that I can do with AI, I have 3 this next cycle instead of only having 1. Right, and then plus I obviously have help, but most of the community stuff I do, I don't have my team do. My team does their stuff. I mean the things that are outside of that, and so it's just such a huge difference. Also, do you think that there's a lot of stress around folks in AI? Do you think coming to the group helps? What do you feel about that?
I think it does. We don't like uncertainty as human beings. We just don't. And, depending on what podcast, what radio station, what blog, what magazine, are there still newspapers? Yes. Newspapers that you read, you're going to get a different perspective from so many different sources. But to be able to come in and sit down with a group of people that are actually using it and doing it, that aren't trying to get clickbait headlines out there, that are saying, this is how you can do it, this is what it looks like. Or you come to a conference like this and you're talking to and listening to the people that are creating the technology, that can give you a sense of trust and understanding that you don't get if you're just sitting back and observing.
That is so true.
Powerful.
I think it's very powerful. And I think there's a connection to be made between really taking the reins of this wave of AI and crafting your own financial freedom. For me, I grew up in a really, what's the word? Unstable, it's probably a good word I could say, unstable household, financially especially. And so one of the reasons I'm so dedicated to my career is to make sure that's not my life, right? And so leaning in and learning from people in the community and being able to build my technical skills gives me peace of mind. That's also one of the reasons that everyone on my team, there's a technical part of what they do, really good with M365, and there's a community part. So we have both. We're not just one or the other. And I think it's important to be mindful about the skills you develop, right? And we tend to take for granted how much we know about M365, but I'm out there in the wild, and I'll tell you, like, OneDrive, SharePoint, what? Where's the file? I just need to know where the file is, okay? But I just want to get something done. Don't tell me Microsoft, all that stuff you're trying to tell me. Just tell me where the file is so I can get something done. Name of the new campaign, by the way, just plugging it for a second. But I think that, taking a hold of your career, and I'm sure that you have people talk about that in the group.
Yes, and just it's funny because like I work for a company that's been around for a long time, so I see it within my own company too, like people who are embracing the new stuff and those who have to be helped along.
Right. And I understand the reticence. I understand, but I encourage people to don't buy in to the sci-fi movie version of what the future is.
Yes.
My husband said, "Are you building Skynet?" And I'm like, which is a reference from a movie, in case you don't know, and it's not a good one. And I'm like, no, because guess what? We're in charge of what the future looks like. Absolutely. And the people that I work with are interested in helping the planet really, literally achieve more, literally do good things.
Yes.
And you can do that in your own career. So if you have those questions, bring them to the Women in M365,
Absolutely.
and we will answer those questions. Yeah. So what were you going to talk about this month before I commandeered your monthly meeting?
No, it's great. It's great. I'm just like, we're going to show up and we're going to answer questions and it's going to be great. So normally every month, like Lori mentioned, we tend to try to have, our goal is to have like a Microsoft or a tech overview. So something we talk about is tech, and then we also try to balance that out with a power skill or something that's not tech focused, that's more networking focused. And a year ago, we met at this conference with Lori, and we made the announcement that we were going to switch from Women in Teams, and we were going to grow to Women in M365 a year ago. And so this year, when again, this session landed right on top of the conference, I said, you know what? We should say this is our official mark, that we are now switched 100% to the Women in M365 group. All of our branding has been rolled over. All of our stuff has been updated, and that we're going to be marching forward in that. And so what we thought we'd talk about is a little recap of what we've done over the last year and where we're headed for the next year so that everybody can get excited about coming to join us. So I wanted to basically just spend a couple minutes talking about your favorite sessions. I don't know, you guys have already kind of talked about it. Your favorite sessions from the last year and what you're excited for over this next year, and maybe a session that you'd be excited to attend and what you'd like for us to do, because we're building out the programming for the rest of the year right now. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to just be like, here's what I loved about the last year and what's coming for the next year. So I'd love for each of you guys to share that.
I want to pause a moment.
Yeah.
I want everyone to recognize that this is Sharon looking for those hands to go up.
Yes.
And if you want to volunteer,
she did it very
call
subtly.
me.
This is a very subtle
She's
thing.
so pro.
We take digital hands, by the way. You can put your comments and questions in the LinkedIn Live comments
Yes,
feed. So
yes.
if there's something we're not looking at it right now, but we will look at it after the fact and make sure that you're included. So if you have an idea, put your hand up virtually. Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite session that I attended was probably the conflict resolution one. It was really good. And you could tell this is what she does. So there was like, she would give you questions and you would have to think about, how would I really navigate this if this was happening to me? And sometimes if you were in a situation or if coworkers brought it to you. So that was really great, because how often in any kind of meeting do you actually get to sit and think and reflect? Or are you just like, oh? So that was great. That was really, really good. And it was a good kind of, I think, bonding and connection time for the in-between conversations we had during that. Can you tell I've been talking a lot this week? So that was really great. I'll echo again the ability that I had, or that opportunity I had, to talk about almost a women's health topic and technology in one session. In fact, I was then invited to another Women in Tech group to give that same topic again. So I'm going to be adding some other things to my repertoire, because it's important, right? We are important creatures. And And what were what I want to see happen? Okay. I'm a SharePoint girl, right? Joy of SharePoint. That's what brought me into the Microsoft space. That is what has helped me build an amazing career. I am so excited to break down those barriers, maybe. Silos is probably a better word. That Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, collaboration, Power Platform, Copilot. And just all be together as the community, as M365.
Yes.
I am excited about that.
Yes. I did joke, because there's a Women in Power Platform group, and
Of
I know
course.
there is.
Yeah.
We need a dance-off.
Oh,
gosh.
I'm down for that. I might be your thing for that. Yeah. I'll start training. Yeah. Gotta limber up for that one. Make sure my foot's in good order. Yeah, I'm down.
So I loved the conflict resolution one, but I do like some of the technical ones that we had this past year. We had the Tale of Two Co-Pilots, which was fantastic from Sarah. That one was great. It really just broke down, and she's just got that calm demeanor.
Sarah Haas?
No, Sarah Fenna. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And she just has that calm, like the way she presents, she's just such a calm. Like, okay,
That's
Call
awesome.
me
The
anything.
English accent.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
It absolutely is.
Fantastic.
So hers was fantastic, and Maddie Dahl did one on like to do and planner and stuff, and that was just to help me organize my life.
100%.
Yeah, and it was
Couldn't
funny.
live without that tech.
Yeah, I actually organized my wedding 2 years ago using like to do
Yes.
and everything like that. So it was like
That sounds like a fantastic session.
I was going to say, that sounds like a template that we should have published.
Nod, nod, wink, wink.
Yes. See, you put your hand up and you didn't.
I know.
Putting your hand up.
Sharon's another one I met just sitting next to her at a conference too. So like, look at what has happened.
Yeah.
And I think for the next year, I love that we're now M365 because yes, I support Teams, yes, I support SharePoint, but I'm also an admin.
Right.
So how about maybe, and I'm putting my hand up, an admin session?
Heck, yeah.
Because I know
We're going to have so much more new content for you too, coming along with the Copilot control system, and also
I
some
saw that.
special
I was like,
yeah, and some special content about security and security best practices for the M365 tenant administrator. Because, the security world and the modern work world at Microsoft, we don't always talk to each other. That's the silo I'm trying to break down. That's my targeted silo for the next year, because it's pretty much done with Copilot Studio. Other people are on that. Mine is the security thing. So, yeah, it would be great. We'll give you stuff, and then you can do it. That's awesome.
that's great. I love it.
Fantastic.
I loved, I don't remember, it was a few months ago, the LinkedIn session, like how to like
Oh yeah, that's right.
create your LinkedIn page. And admittedly, I did not act on that right away and still need to, but it was a fantastic session.
That's
Told you,
great.
like you're not interviewing for a job, you already have a job, right? And, personally, like in my case, right? So like, right, it just
Now's
kinda
the time.
helped like how you should structure that and what the voice should sound like. And I really appreciated that session. So that was really cool. But I think, one of the things that I think is really important is for Microsoft people, women, to come and talk about what they do at Microsoft, because it shares with the community a little bit about, not only what we're doing, but also that there's women building these products and features and doing the work behind the scenes. And the kind of hidden thing that I really appreciate about those sessions is that a lot of these women that come to speak don't normally speak to community. And
right.
so it gives them also an opportunity to engage with community and to get to know all of you and kind of break outside what they do day to day, which is oftentimes just, working on their features behind the scenes and not interacting with community. And so I think a lot of times people think, oh, everybody at Microsoft is just out there, and, they're not. And we don't always get those opportunities. And so this is a really nice way for for us to offer an opportunity for the Microsoft folks to come and interact with you and engage with community as well.
Because a really important point too is maybe you're not that person that wants to be out doing public speaking and podcasts and in front of talent in front of the camera all the time. You don't have to, but for me, my speaking ability has been critical in my internal life at Microsoft. I think if you work at any corporation, the ability to clearly communicate what you're doing and your value and take questions and take feedback and all of that, you definitely build that if you're in one of these presentations. So, don't think that speaking skills are just about being out in the world. They matter at work. And yeah, it's a definitely, and knowing how to do it for different audiences. How I talk to marketing is not the same as how I talk to engineering leadership. It's not the same as how I talk to my own team, right? And being able to be really good at changing that up, it just takes practice. So this is a safe place to practice all of that.
And I think hearing what people's questions are, like understanding what people out in the wild, we like to say, are saying about our products, but also what they're asking about. It's like, oh wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't think about that. So it's helpful for us too.
It's really, really important if you work at Microsoft to not be completely swallowed by the bubble of the Microsoft perspective. We are always striving to be out and to hear what's really happening. That's why everywhere I go, I explain the difference between Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot and the consumer version. Because everybody inside Microsoft thinks everyone understands that. I'm oversimplifying. No, they actually don't, because Lori and many of the rest of us have been telling them that not everybody understands it. But we talk about it all the time. So we're more familiar with the terms and what the terms mean. But if that's not your day job to talk about these products, then it all merges together in a bunch of word salad. So yeah, absolutely. And hearing, every place I go, I would hear the other day, can you tell us the difference? Like, we don't understand. And I'm like, just like yesterday, I sat down and explained it to somebody, right? Yeah. And this guy was a CIO of a mid-sized company. So if he doesn't understand it, we need to be continuing to explain it. And I love people hearing those questions, and and reality check sounds like a negative term, but I mean it in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's being aligned with what's actually happening in the world, in our customers. I think that's so important. Yeah. So we got a couple of minutes left. And why don't you tell everyone, when's your next meeting? Because that's really important. When do you have them? Is it the third week? I'm sorry, when is it?
I know.
It's when the Outlook calendar.
It's when the calendar. So is this
when there's a pop-up?
Are we on the second? We're on the second. No, the first.
The first Wednesday.
The first Wednesday of every month.
Okay, fantastic.
The first Wednesday of every month at this time.
Okay.
And it's basically we do an hour, so we always kind of do, like a quick intro, quick updates to things that are going on. And then we typically have, we try really hard to do a technical and a power skill. Like we want to do
Fantastic.
one of each. And then, some months we might focus more on one or the other, but for the most part, we try to balance it. But yeah, so first Wednesday of every month at this time.
Okay, so 9 a.m. Pacific, first Wednesday of the month. And my studio can broadcast that stuff for you and give you some more scale. Do whatever you want. You keep it a Teams meeting, but then we also broadcast it on LinkedIn and YouTube, and then it just gets in front of more people. We're happy to do that for sure.
Well, and in fact, so we've been in the community tenant.
Yes.
And the community tenant is going away next month. And we're transitioning to a more live, way of doing this. And so we're really excited because this is going to bring opportunity for us to have more awareness and more openness. And, the community tenant has been fantastic. It really has. And I'm really sad. But I'm really excited for the opportunity this is.
Well, we could do both. We could not retire the community tenant, or we could modify the community tenant and still give you that broadcast capability.
It's like I know people.
There's a hill that I'm kind of willing to die on there. So, that COVID era infrastructure for community organizers. There are 5,000 organizers who use that infrastructure right now.
Yeah.
Now, because my team also happens to manage the Microsoft Tech Community, that platform as well now, we could put the groups themselves there.
That would be lovely.
But the organizers need the collaboration and meeting services and other things that organizers need. I'm helping the group in Phoenix. Where am I going to put my user group in Phoenix if I don't have... Right?
Yep.
So I'm a customer of it as well as the manager of it. So yeah, I'm not quite done with that conversation yet.
We'll keep talking.
Yes, we actually paused, just for anybody who knows about this and is listening, we paused all the communications on this because there's still conversations happening inside Microsoft. We did send out the initial notification on it, but, I'm not, I have not,
You're getting us excited.
I have asked them to not send anything else out while we run that up the chain and up a few different chains to re-architect the solution for where we are now. Because it's fair, we need to re-architect it because it's been in there for 5 years now. It's 2025. We provisioned it, I want to say, in April of 2020. I think we're right in the height of the COVID support my team was doing. So yeah, re-architecting is fine, and I have a much bigger footprint now and all of that, so I can manage different things. But yeah, we need this. But regardless of what happens there, we can get your stuff out on the LinkedIn and the YouTube channel, however you do
That's what I was
it.
going to say is if you're following us, make sure you get on the LinkedIn group.
That's the most
LinkedIn
important thing.
group is it's gonna communicate to you. We're gonna have that information. If for whatever reason we do need to change things,
That's
or
right.
we needed to give you a different link, then you can find it there. So make sure to join the LinkedIn group.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. Thank you for being here. And really, more than anything, thank you for all the work that you do. It's fun to be together at a show like this, but you're doing the hard work out in the actual community itself, where it is really impacting so many people. I am grateful for that. It's so much fun. You're very inspirational, all of you. And that includes you, Lori, in terms of all the work that you do to help these groups all the time and help the MVPs and, really being mindful about being inclusive and giving people space for their voice to be heard. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Caruana. I'm with Microsoft. This is the Change Need Makers series from our community news desk. Thanks for watching. You can watch this again on demand, but remember, go out there and join the Women in Microsoft 365 group, and you will get to hang out with us again sometime soon. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.